Hey guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. About a year ago, I got the opportunity to go out to Lake Cumberland. Headed back east, had a ball, caught some beautiful fish on that trip. Got to fish quite a few places actually. Fast forward, it's been almost a year. The footage from that trip is now relevant. It's the right time of year so we can take you guys back, take you out on the water, and walk through a day out there on Cumberland. Come along, let's go fishing. Hey guys, Matt Allen here. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Out here with my buddy Jared Caesar. We are on Lake Cumberland in Kentucky. Early December and it is cold. First light, gonna run out here. Striper is what's on the mind, but we're gonna take whatever we can get. Just checking out a new lake. He's fished here. I've never been out here, but it looks like it's gonna be fun. Come along with us. We'll go chase some fish. Perfect. Oh, he's on it.
A little different than California spotted bass, huh?
Out here on Cumberland catching these giant Kentucky spotted bass on a popper in December. They're blowing up on little, like 1 inch, inch and a quarter baitfish. Don't even know what they are, but he's throwing a 2.8 Kitech. I'm throwing that little popper and they're taking a shot at it. Little guy.
Oh. Got him. Back. A little back. Stripes. Spot.
been chasing schooling striper, and they're smart. They get back in these pockets. We're starting to get into the bass. Catching fish on the exact same stuff that we throw at home. Look at that, choked. Beautiful fish.
No. That's a good picture.
All right, guys, it's just a little bit after noon. We had to call it at a half day. We've got to get on to the next lake, get back on the road, but just wanted to swing out here to Cumberland, see it while we were in the neighborhood, see if we couldn't get some striper. We did not get some striper, but we got one really good striper. It was a good time. The lake as a whole, it fished tough for us. We didn't catch very many fish, but we did get some. So the way that we caught them, first thing, we sat down on some busting fish. They turned out to be those little spotted bass. The bait they were blowing up on was so small. We were planning to throw A-rigs, but we're throwing A-rigs with a 4.8 Kitech and just didn't match what was going on there. So dropped down to a little tiny yellow magic popper, the smallest one that they make, on 6-pound line and a spinning rod, and was able to get a handful of those fish to bite. We got like 6 or 7 bites and put like 4 or 5 of them in the boat. Not big fish, but still fun to catch a true Kentucky spotted bass in Kentucky. And then Jared stuck one on the 2.8 Kitech. And then there at the end, I don't know if we got footage of it or not, but I had a big smallmouth on, like 5 to 6 pounds, and ran around the boat for a while and eventually just popped off. Not sure why she popped off either, but she did. That was on that little 2.8 Kitech on a little Revenge dart head. Again, on a spinning rod, 8-pound line, 8-pound fluoro, fluoro leader over braid, of course. And then got one nice smallie to go on top. That better fish, that was on a rover. And I like to throw that rover on braid. So braid, again, a mono leader. Fishing it really slow. because again, the bait they were busting was so small, and that's critical. You really have to adapt to what the fish are feeding on, right? If they're eating great big baits, you throw great big baits. If they're eating little tiny stuff, you've got to downsize. Problem is, you know, I'm halfway across the country from home. We weren't planning to throw topwater at all, so we had to work with what we had in the boat. So pulled up a rover, which is of course way too big for the bait, but the way that you get those fish to eat when they're chasing something a lot smaller than that rover was really underworked it, just barely walked it. So instead of that big, wide, hard, knocking walk, just barely ticking it, just barely getting that bait to move. So it's not throwing a lot of wake, not throwing a lot of sound, and it kind of minimizes the size of the bait, and it worked. Got one really nice smallmouth to take a shot at that. And then last but not least, that striper. And we could have, if we had had the time and we're rigged, we could have mowed those striper down. Because when that one bit, an absolute wolf pack of 20 to 40 others appeared under the boat. But of course they vanish as fast as they show up. But that fish was on that Blade Runner. I believe that's the 1 3/4 ounce. And guys, I'll give you a link to all this stuff down in the video description. Don't worry about it. But that color is called Morning Dawn. That's a color that I throw at home. You know, it works there, it works here. Typically with striper, we throw the bright chartreuse, like the electric chicken is one of my favorite colors. But in this clear water, Cumberland's really clear, I went with the same thing I'd be throwing for a largemouth or a spot or a smallmouth at home on Berryessa or any of our other reservoirs. And that's that Morning Dawn. It's definitely the most consistent color. And it worked. She had that thing choked, and that was a fun ride. So we're headed off to the next lake now. We're gonna hit the road, but had an absolute blast here. Only got a few hours on the lake. Got to see about this much of it. We burned 3/4 of a tank of gas and basically saw none of the lake. This place is massive, but it's awesome on a lake this different from home. This big, clear, it's got striper in it, all sorts of things that are, it's got walleye in it, so different than what we've got at home, but the fish themselves are the exact same. I could have pulled all 4 of these rods out of the rod locker at the boat I left at home. You know, a bass is a bass no matter where they are. It's fun to run around, see new water, and catch them with familiar baits in familiar ways. Thanks for coming along. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.